fellow tech masters. For this time, as Ohadi said, I am taking a class in enterprise architecture. And this is sort of the introductory class. This is part of a case study that we're doing. And for the case study, they have asked us to do a 15-minute presentation that will cover this case study. I'm doing part one of the two parts. And so we will have two parts here. Basically, what we have is a client that was studied. They presented, and I've tried to expunge the name because I'm not sure the confidentiality of that. And we want to talk about a little bit about the environmental factors that contribute to how they might want to style their business, and then three approaches that they gave, and what we want to do, which one we like best. First, in this case, the business was formed by the merger of two smaller businesses into one larger business. The business consists of 12 highly independent business units, and these business units provide over 80 different lines of product lines to their clients. The company, realizing it had some issues that it wanted to deal with, brought in a new chief architect, and it was brought in by the senior management and appointed to achieve some primary goals. They wanted to create an environment of exponential growth. They wanted the growth to be organic and not just by acquiring more and more companies, but rather let's grow our business organically. And in order to achieve that, they felt that they needed to earn 100% of their customers' business. They have all these different product lines, many of them overlapping, and offering many services that the customer might want. So let's have the customer bring more of their business to us, and we'll meet more of their needs. And one of the ways to achieve this was to become more customer focused. Some of the factors that were affecting that will affect how they wanted to restructure their architecture team, it had to do with their operating model. The fact that they didn't, that up until this point, they had no single chief architect, and some issues with the central architecture. To talk a little bit about the architecture model, the operating model, I wanted to bring up sort of a slide that divides enterprise architecture and an operating model. Jeannie Ross, Peter Wheel, and Peter Robertson wrote a book in 2006 talking about enterprise architecture strategies. And they divided, one of the things that they focus on is selecting an operating model for your company. And they have two dimensions: how integrated your processes are and how standardized your processes are. And using that, they divided the models into 4 quadrants. And these are just some of the factors or characteristics of the different models. The company under study was effectively operating under the diversification model. They had few, if any, common, where many of the things were very not sure. Each line of business had their own profit and revenue, their own strategy, their own service to customers. And in many ways, customers felt like they were dealing with different companies. In fact, there was a quote in the case study that to the effect that if somebody had multiple products from the company, and they wanted to do a simple thing like change their address, they had to call each and every separate business unit and ask them with different account numbers to change it. A better model for them to operate under would be a coordination. Until the appointment of the chief architect, they had no formal leader. There was no clearly defined mandate or scope for the enterprise architecture team, and the team was largely created standards that people ignored and were large, and they were regarded in many ways as an ivory tower. Some alternatives: strengthen the architecture team, adopt a formal framework, and focus on deliverables. Pros and cons. Strengthening the architecture team would be establishing common customer data structure would have enterprise value. It would be backed by senior management and move with a coordinated model. They would be able to stop the project if it didn't meet the standards. Elect an architecture framework. This would be a formal way to do the EA process. Now, it's good to have better output, but better output, pretty things that are ignored are no better than ugly things that are ignored. Or work on specific deliverables with the team, focus on some specific projects, provide a useful output, lines business might begin to respect the architecture team. Then the first project might benefit, but there'd be no guarantee that anybody else would continue to use it. And our recommendation would be to strengthen the central team and to actually form that formal business support, strong support from the central, from senior management that would back them and form a better process. Thank you.
Thank you, Courtney.